Hello everybody and welcome to another review of this Oxford United season, and do not let this smile confuse you. Do not let it fool you. This is an absolute ruse of how I'm really feeling. This is how I'm really feeling. Damn it, damn it, damn it. And I said at the end of my Plymouth video, if Oxford lose to MK Dons, then feel free to shit all over this team over Karl Robinson, over Oxford United's performances this season and where we're going to go. Feel free, flood the comments full of it. You are welcome to do so. How close are you to hitting the panic button? You've got to be pretty close. This has been pretty desperately poor in every single game this season. Every game's been a slog. Nothing's been convincing. And today was no different, and we came up against an MK Dons side who themselves were really struggling, but it is the Dons from Milton Keynes who took the points away. It finished Oxford 1, MK Dons 2. And I think that's MK Dons' first win at the Kassam Stadium, so congratulations to MK Dons and congratulations to your fans. And if you let me know how you think the seasons are going to go and how you're going to improve, let me know down in the comments what you are thinking. And just before we jump into how this game unfolded this afternoon, and my goodness, we really want to stall away from that as much as we possibly can. I know there's going to be a lot of talk about Robinson out. Robinson's taken us to the end of the road. This is it for Robinson. I don't want to hear that in the comments, and it's not because I necessarily want him in or out at this stage. Because honestly, ask yourself this: do you really think the board are going to get rid of him? Do you really think this guy who's looks like he's got a very safe, comfortable job? All the board members seem to like him. They speak very highly of him. He seems to have his fingers involved with every little thing going on with Oxford United, right the way through the youth setup to the ladies team, to the first team and everything on beyond. So I do not think Karl Robinson is anywhere close to losing his job. That being said, I do understand if you think he is, but I'm not going to be saying Robinson out in this video, not because either one way or another I want it. I just don't think he's going anywhere, not for a long time. Here we go then. Let's jump into this joy factory, this like going into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory all over again. Oxford made two changes to the side that lost 1-0 to Plymouth. John Mousinho came back into the side at centre back and Marcus Brown got a start in midfield. It meant that Steve Seddon dropped out, and it also meant that Lewis Bate dropped out too. MK Dons, who I said have not been in good form at all, looked a bit of a hangover. Obviously, they lost some key players in Twine and in Darling, but a bit of a hangover really, but just trying to rediscover themselves this season after coming close to promotion last time out. Josh McEachran returned to the starting lineup. We know what a good player in midfield he is. Dean Lewington, the ever present in this MK Dons side for years and years and years. Dean Lewington at the back, and Connor Grant also in the back as well. And this first half was largely forgettable. You've got two sides that are really out of form, and this first half really showed it. You've got two sides here that looked okay at passing the ball around when they had it between their defenders and when they had it in their own half, but as soon as they got into the opposition's half, decision making just wasn't there. A lot of passing it around and a long ball forward, which was pretty much aimless. But really, the best chances came from when the opposition made a mistake. I remember there was a couple of times on Oxford play. I remember one in my mind of McGuane making a mistake, which led to an MK Dons counter attack. And then the likes of Smith and the likes of Dennis and Grant were pretty lively then, with McEachran and Devoy in behind them. But other than that, like when they were trying to build up play, MK Dons they weren't as sharp as what we've seen them certainly last year. And Oxford were what they've been this season again. They're trying to get it going, but it's just not there for them. They've got no pace, and going forward, they look like they've got very little creativity. That front three of Joseph, regardless of how hard he works, he's not linking up well with Bowden. He's not linking up well with Brown, and they're not bringing any width at all from the wing-backs at all, like Henry and from Kieran Brown, two Browns in the Oxford side. At all. And it's just very, very difficult to watch Oxford just passing it around the back, and they get the ball into Brannigan or McGuane. They try and turn and go forward. They ideally can't, so they have to go back, and we start the cycle again. And eventually someone gets bored, tries a long raking pass, it goes out of play, or it doesn't lead to much, and we roll on from there. Again, a couple of half chances for Oxford United. There was a ball into the box, which the goalkeeper came for, took a big flap, and Kyle Joseph, it kind of hit him, but really when you look back on it, maybe he should have done a bit better. If he got any sort of a decent contact on it, it would have rolled into an empty net, but his luck isn't in, is it? And it just it hit like high on his leg and ballooned over the bar. But a seemingly uneventful first half sort of kicked into gear in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes. Oxford all of a sudden out of nowhere fashioned these couple of chances. Some decent interplay around the box from Brown, and I think it was Joseph or Bodin, played it back to Brown. Brown in on goal. Decent effort, hits the inside of the post, bounces out, bounces to Brannigan. He controls it on the stretch, sort of on the volley. He hits a good effort though on goal, hits the bar or the post and bounces out the other way. So Oxford incredibly unlucky in that instance, hitting the woodwork twice in a matter of seconds. So you're thinking, okay, we're building up a head of steam here. But oh no, the next time I follow cuts away from the replay, MK Dons are bundling forward, and the ball, Smith finds his way into the penalty area. He gets wide, he has a shot on goal, it's not going in. I don't think it's going in, but John Mousinho can't really do much about it. He can only stick out a leg and can't divert it behind. Unfortunately, Moose diverts it into his own net. And seemingly out of absolutely nowhere. I mean, Oxford maybe didn't deserve to be going in leading at half-time. They certainly didn't deserve to be going in losing at half-time. But that is where we found it. 1-0 to MK Dons at half-time. And even at half-time, you kind of thought, I just don't think Oxford are going to get back into this. Still no first half goals for Oxford this season. That is crazy. That is nuts. And that shows you just how much we are struggling, and when you compare that to how good we were at scoring the first goal in games and getting early goals last season, it shows you that at the moment, and you know we've got players out, but we're miles worse than what we were last season. So can Oxford get back into this game? Well, the best chance they created fell quite early on in the second half, and it was a ball across the box, which Kieran Brown did really well to keep alive, actually, and he played it back into the area. It was actually quite good work by Joseph and some pretty poor defending by MK Dons, but Brown was able to get to the ball and put a really good cross in, and Joseph was just studs away. It was like Gascoigne in Euro 96. Look that one up, kids. You might not remember that one, but I remember that one. I'm still hurting over it. And Kyle Joseph was a very similar chance to that one. Just missed his studs and rolled out for a goal kick. And as I say, it's just not being Joseph's week, really. He's been good so far, but it's not been his week in front of goal, that is for sure. And he also had another chance from a Brown shot, which the goalkeeper spilled. It came out to Joseph, and he was a lack of composure, really. He was a bit rushed on his shot. Wasn't the best angle, but he skewed it high and wide. And the game just meandered along, really. Oxford didn't really show that much urgency to try and chase it down. MK Dons broke the game up where they could, and the game was just meandering, and you were just hoping Oxford might be able to nick something at the end. But they were always susceptible to the counter-attack, and when MK Dons could bring on a player like Grigg, he is always going to cause problems. We know he's caused problems in the past against for Oxford United when he was playing for Wigan. And it was a counter-attacking move. The ball breaks down and Grigg's in on goal. It looks like Eastwood is going to get to the ball because Grigg is really struggling with his running, but he just gets there ahead of Eastwood. Eastwood brings him down. I don't think you can have any complaints about that one. It is a penalty. Grigg steps up, puts the penalty into the roof of the net. It was a lovely penalty, really. Nice, calm finish from him. MK Dons 2-0. That looked like it was absolutely game over, but then Oxford get a goal. Unbelievably, John Mousinho, second goal of the season for the Moose, cancelling out his own goal. I can't believe Oxford actually got the ball in the back of the net in this game, but it actually was a very good ball in from Lewis Bate. Great delivery. Moose with a free header. Scores the goal. Set up a kind of a grandstand finish. Oxford finally got some urgency into the game and huffed and puffed a little bit. Nothing real concrete in terms of chances, but I will say it looked like there should have been a blatant handball. And that was from KO to trying to clear the ball from a corner. Typical centre forward making an absolute hash of it in the box. Looked like the ball bounced up, hit his arm. Really, from my point of view, I'm screaming at the telly on that one going, gotta give it, but the referee did not give it. MK Dons come away with a point, so I've already said congratulations, and yeah. It's not good, is it? It's not really many positives you can say about this Oxford side, about this Oxford season so far. Whew. And I tell you what, we got a bit of a break now, and I know they're talking about some players that these injured players coming back in, but my goodness, these injured players have got to make a difference. What a difference they've got to make. We are so bad compared to how we were last season. And I know I've talked a lot about the lack of pace, the lack of quality, the lack of passing in the final third and the crossing. Oxford just don't look fluid at the moment. But I think the biggest thing I missed from the players last season, it just seems that lack of urgency. It just seems that lack of tempo, that lack of drive. That when you look back at some of the players we had last season, and like for example Kane, like for example Sykes, like for example Holland, like Gavin White. Oh, God, I miss all these players. I miss them all. And a lot of them I didn't even want to play for us at the end of the season. But I tell you what, I'd like them all in the team now, because they actually added some cutting edge to this Oxford United team, and it gave them more space to the likes of Bodin, who's really struggling at the moment. We really miss Taylor's experience out there as well. Trial Joseph runs himself into the ground, but he really isn't a very experienced striker, and he does make mistakes, and that's not to say Taylor's been very good either. I don't think this was Marcus McGuane's... I think it's probably his worst game of the season, but that is a very churlish of me to say, because he's been excellent and he was by no means bad today. He just wasn't his usual self. I don't think Brannigan was that great. He got the Man of the Match award. You have to give it to someone, I guess. But it's worrying. It's really worrying. And you can't help but be worried now. I mean, you look at the fixtures that we've got in October. I will read them to you, and I'm not going to include the Papa Johns, but we've got Charlton away. Obviously, we know this Fleetwood game's called off, so a bit of a break now. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's a lot of time for us to stew. Charlton away, Wickham at home, Exeter away, Peterborough at home, and then Bolton away. How many points do you see us getting from them? I'm not seeing a lot. Maybe one win? Maybe we might be able to get something at Exeter? Maybe we might be able to get something at home in one of the games? You can't help but be worried. You can't help but think we could be sat at the end of October very close to the relegation zone, if not in it. These players that are injured, that are heralded as the White Knights riding over the hill in a very Lord of the Rings Two Towers fashion to save us, have got to hit the ground running, which is not going to be an easy thing for injured players to do. And you run that risk from the likes of Baldock and the likes of Murphy, and even the likes of Taylor and the likes of Moore getting injured again. And then we're just in more shit. It's a mess, really, isn't it? What a mess. What a mess. But I will say again, I think Robbo can still rest pretty easy. And remember, the players care. Good. I'm glad they do. I'm really glad they do. I'd like them not to care and score more goals. But hey, what can I say? If Sykes didn't care, but he played a lot better than what I've seen so far. Right, I digress. I'm talking absolute rubbish. I'm waffling on here, just wallowing in my own self-pity. Let me know how you got on, and let me know, MK Dons fans. Great win for you guys, trying to claw up some form. You've gone level on points with us now, and hopefully, considering you were cheering the shot, you had a shot on target, perhaps you can, even more cheer the fact that you've won this game by 2-1. Miserable for Oxford United, not looking very good. Hopefully, I don't really want to burst into song and sing things will only get better, because you don't want to hear it, and I'll probably get copyright stricken. But hit like if you haven't subscribed. I'd love you to. I'd love to get to 200 subs by the end of September. And above all else, leave your comments.